one job, and everything is gonna be okay.
So, as we're pulling Jade out of hibernation and starting to fix the dents and whatnot, which this is a wife's car. She was very happy that I worked on her car for Christmas. I haven't seen her that happy in a minute. I don't make her that happy, but her little car, Jade, does. Since we started it up, it's overheating, and the air tank pressure switch was sticking, so the belt-driven compressor wasn't shutting off, which is a big deal because those belt-driven compressors put out so much air that you can rip a tank in half. So, good that we noticed, good that we caught it. She had mentioned it even before it got parked. But the overheating issue is new. I changed the thermostat, it's still overheating. And that's just while it's sitting here. So I got a new fan clutch. There isn't too much to the cooling system, you know. And we'll see if that fixes it. But our air ride is a complete mess, leaking everywhere. And, well, I shouldn't say leaking everywhere. It's leaking on the rear valves. We had like one of those self-contained units when they were early, really new. It went to shit. We got a 4-valve body manifold. And the front ones went bad on it. I put the valves up front under the fender wells, which is more what I do now. You know, I started building this car 20 years ago. I originally built it for a customer, and then they didn't get it quite finished. It was almost finished. I bought it, and we finished it, and we've drove it 90,000 miles or something like that. So we've drove it so much that the rebuilt engine is starting to smoke again. You know, things are starting to leak again, but it was fully done. And now it's wore out again. And so I'm going back in, we're gonna change the valves on the rear. I don't like the manifold systems. I like these, they call them a manifold. And it's nice because it's got both valves in one deal. Now this is the ones I've been getting now, which I don't like as much as the ones I used to get. These are 3/8 ports. I used to get 1/2-inch port ones, but they don't make those anymore, so we're doing the 3/8. It has smaller wire, it has smaller solenoids. I don't like it. I do not like it. But that's what's available now. So that's what we're gonna use. I've been using one previously, and I put that in for the camper. So my air ride camper that tows behind this, I have the airline come out, and then up under the license plate here I have, let's see if I can feel it. Oh, it's right here. I have an air chuck, like a regular air fitting like you have in your shop, and I hooked my camper into that. So I have the valves, the electric inside the car, so you can adjust it from inside the car. I didn't want to have the valves and stuff in the camper, so it just goes to a tank on the camper. It fills that tank, and it fills both bags on the camper. It's not individual, they just go as one. And this one valve inside the car controls it, and it seems to have been working fine. The inside of this trunk used to be all custom finished off, all cover plated, and 215s in here, amps up there, all cover boarded, everything done up. That has since rotted, got moldy because the truck doesn't seal great, and so it got moldy. The subs blew up. We didn't replace the subs because the boxes were moldy and getting rotten. And so we have so much time into this that we're going again. Since I had the car, some of that had started to rust, but it's just got nothing but worse. That body mount and that location for rust is very common in this body of vehicle. It happens on the Pontiacs, it happens on the Impalas. That area on these, I think it's 67, 68, in that range. 69 maybe. Maybe not. Anyways, they all tend to do that rust there. The rest of the car is pretty rust free as far as I know. But the cover boards were taking up a lot of the room in here. I totally forgot that I had a spare tire mount back there. That has been covered for the last 20 years. So I pulled all that stuff out today because I want to redo it. The wood's rot and the carpet's probably gone to shit. And I don't want to be climbing all the way back up in there to work on these air valves. It sucks. You have to climb all the way in the trunk. And so I'm going to move them, and I'm going to do them over here and maybe make something that connects to there that we can pull off and put down here so I can work on them and then set them back up. I think I have enough length on my trailer valve to just move it. We might have to shorten up this hose, which is no big deal. These are the fittings that I use on my air ride if I'm using semi air brake line, but you can just push it in and then pull out your line, and then you can just put it back in. They're really nice. You want the brass ones though. You don't want those, I don't know, they're kind of like a chrome steel. You don't want the chrome steel, you want the brass. Chrome steels leak, the brass tend to hold a little better. But of course our brass is all going to shit. You can see this is quality brass. It has that darker color. And you can see this is the shittier, newer brass, which is a lighter color. You know, you can always tell the good brass by that darker color, but you're not getting much of this anymore. You know, this actually has a name brand on it. DOT it says. Good stuff. The other stuff isn't going to have all that marking, so watch out for that. Stereo wires I really don't need, we'll just tuck away. I think I am going to order the replacement pieces for those instead of making them. I know that's such a common rust out spot. I doubt I'll have trouble getting them. And then we'll make a plate for our valves. I might have to change the fittings on top of the bags because I have the airline running around and in, which I could do again, but I might just have them come out of those spots. So I might just do a straight fitting on the bags and just come over to the valves here. I don't know if I'm gonna put the tank back up there. I might put it over here, or I might put it down there. I don't know. That is an aluminum tank. They're kind of nice because they don't rust. Has a lot of ports obviously I don't use, but we'll see. I have to kind of keep it over around that big hydraulic line is what feeds the air from the compressor, so that's kind of a big deal. I'll show you the air compressor. This is what I've been using for years and years. Even before this car, I built my truck with one of these. It's just a York AC compressor. I use it for my onboard air. And then these are the valves I was talking about that are the bigger, tougher ones that I like, that we can't get anymore. I can't find them anywhere. If anybody knows where I can get those, let me know. They're a 1/2-inch manifold valve, and they got those bigger solenoids, the bigger wiring. I just like them better. I would like to get those again. I can't find them. It has just the air intake is just this, and that's your exit. Pull this nut out, bolt out. I put 30 weight, straight 30 weight compressor oil, non-detergent. I just put that right in there. I just put some in every so often. There's no, like, you can put a dipstick in it, but it's kind of funky. So I just put air in, or oil in there sometimes. It's better to put it right in the compressor than dumping it in the intake, but you can just dump it in the intake. But I've had that compressor on there for 15 years and it hasn't gone bad. So I'd say, you know, it's not much oil. You know, you're putting out of your quart, you're probably putting that much down on your quart of oil every 2 months, 3 months or something like that. Just needs a little bit of oil in there. And then I have the clutch wire hooked up to the pressure switch on the tank, so I never have to do anything with the air. It just does all of it. It's all by itself and works really good. I've put blow-off valves on them. They make these little blow-off valves, but I have had more trouble with the blow-off valves going bad than they're worth. On this one, I don't have a gauge that shows my tank pressure, which is a little dangerous because that compressor can blow that tank in half. But if I just hear it running too long, like, you get used to how much it runs. If it's running too long, I shut off the car. And like the other day when the pressure switch went bad, I just go back to the pressure switch and unplug it. It shuts off the compressor and we're good. But you most definitely want it on a pressure switch. Anyways, that's kind of how I do air ride. And I also do hydraulic lines on my air lines. Not all my lines are hydraulic on this car, but it's because it's one of my earlier jobs, and I do have some of the DOT airline, which hasn't really ever gone bad on this car. We might have melted one time. That's the one thing you can do, is you can melt it. But as far as regular driving or deteriorating, it doesn't really do any of that. It's pretty great stuff. It's like Kevlar lined or fiber lined plastic, and it's for semis. It does their air brakes, so it's a decent product. You just have to make sure it stays away from exhaust is really your big deal, because it will melt. Also, big deal, you can see I have a hydraulic line coming out of the compressor. The air that comes out of these compressors is hot, so that brake line, air line will not work. It'll just blow it up right there immediately. So I've used stainless steel leaders or hydraulic line, and it stands up to the heat. That's a bit of information that it took me a while to learn, because at the time I learned it, there was no support for air ride. It was kind of the early years of air ride, and I was in kind of rural Colorado, so I had nobody to talk to. There was Truckin' Magazine, Sport Truck Magazine, and that's about all the information you could get. The internet was still kind of so slow, you couldn't find anything, and I learned that all on my own. I tried copper line, I tried a few different things. It's not going to work out. Stainless steel line, braided line, hydraulic line, something really tough is what you have to have. A solid metal line won't work because the bouncing of the compressor will crack it. That's just what you need. You also want a check valve, one-way check valve, in case if something was to happen to that line going all the way up, or your compressor was to go out. You're not going to lose all the air in your tank. That pressure from the air in the tank isn't going to sit on the back of your compressor and try to push on that all the time or come out the intake. You do need a check valve, very important. Spend some money on it. Same with your pressure switch. I'm using a Viair pressure switch, which is like 45 bucks, and a good check valve, because they go bad, and it's those things, and the airlines is really where you spend your money. Airbags, I've never really had any trouble with one brand to another. They're cheap, whatever. Air valves, another thing that I've not had a lot of trouble with. The bigger manifold setups I don't care for, because if one goes out, then you have to change out the whole system, or it's kind of a big deal to change individual valve. I just don't like them. Just individual valves with these double manifolds. These, instead of the individual valves, I don't like the individual valves because you have to run more fittings. So I like these because it's a couple less fittings. Couple less fittings is a couple less leaks.
All it takes is one job, oh yeah. All it takes is one job, and everything is gonna be okay.